with a man known as Hutch Mansell sitting in an interrogation room, looking beaten up. We're meant to know that the two agents are more interested in knowing who exactly Hutch Mansell is. Just as he tried to explain, the scene shifted focus to a while back before all this. We see Hutch living his life as a very normal individual, more like he is now retired. However, his body language really shows that he doesn't fancy such lifestyle. So he returned back to his life as an assassin, as he brutally eliminated his enemy, or are we going to say his target, in the most diabolical way. Hutch gets a text from his wife asking if he's still coming home. He replies that he will, just later than expected. Becca starts to type that they need to talk, but deletes it and instead sends back that she loves him. Friday morning comes, and as Becca and the kids get ready for the day, she reminds Hutch that summer is only a few days away. Hutch cuts her off, saying he knows and he will plan something after finishing one last assignment. The answer leaves Becca frustrated. Later that very day, Hutch steps into an elevator where he gets to update his handler known as the barber about what went down on his last job. The barber reminds him it was supposed to be a simple snatch and grab for a data drive, but things turned bloody fast. As we see from the flashback, Hutch had to improvise, using whatever tools he could find to fight his way through the guards until he finally secured the drive. Just as he thought it was over, more gunmen showed up. He ducked for cover, tossed in a gas tank, and the incoming gunfire set off an explosion that wiped them out clean. Heading into the basement, he ran into another crew, this time armed with machetes, but his training made quick work of them as he easily defeated them. Back at the barber's place, Hutch hands over the drive, and the handler tells him the job earned $800,000, which is just a dent in the $30 million Hutch owes the Russian mob after torching their stash. Still, another mission is waiting. Hutch tells the barber he can't keep going, but the handler reminds him he is just trying to help clear the debt at this pace, and Hutch could be free by spring. Hutch insists he needs a break, and after a short while, the barber wishes him good luck. When Hutch asks why, the barber says trouble always seems to find him. During his last fight, Hutch had spotted a poster for Plummerville, a theme park he loved as a kid, and now he sees it as the perfect getaway. At home, he makes the family watch the Plummerville ads to sell them on the idea, adding that Grandpa will be joining. While they talk it over, Hutch notices his son Brady's black eye, which Brady brushes it off, saying he got it from a school game Hutch missed. Anyways, the family agreed to Hutch's idea to go for the vacation, and soon after, the family picks up Grandpa Christopher from the retirement home and heads to the park. So after their long family drive, they finally arrived at Plummerville. Hutch proceeded to show the kids their room, but they refused to share. Grandpa offers Brady his old lodge, so his sister can have her space. Hutch and Becca settle into their own room, which Becca finds amusing. They are just about to get romantically involved when their daughter named Sammy came in, dragging them off to the water park. Once there, the attendant informs them that the park is closed for the next 24 hours due to an incident, but offers hot dog coupons as compensation. So later that same day, the family head into the restaurant, where Hutch drifts into a flashback of his childhood, remembering how much joy he once found in these moments. Snapping out of it, he realized he has just been staring awkwardly at the town sheriff, who calls him out. After which, Hutch grabs a tray of hot dogs and heads back to his family's table. Later at the arcade, Hutch tries to get Brady to open up about his black eye, but Brady yet again brushes it off. Instead, he racks up a pile of tickets, and when he notices some pretty girls watching, he offers the tickets to them. However, a few moments later when Brady and Sammy pick out teddy bears, a boy confronts Brady for giving his girlfriend tickets, mocking him as a nerd. Brady tries to walk away, but the boy rips Sammy's honey badger plush in half. Brady snaps and punches him, sparking a fight that forces park security to step in. Hutch rushes over, intercepting a baseball thrown his way, but as tensions flare, Becca urges him to stand down and leave. As the family starts walking out, Sammy bends to pick up her torn toy, but a security guard smacks the back of her head, telling her to drop it. He takes a few steps with his family before claiming he forgot his phone and turning back. Then he unleashes, punching the guard, smashing his face into a platform, and hitting him the same way the guard struck his daughter. He only stops when his family calls out, pulling him back from going too far. Unfortunately, the family gets arrested, but since no charges are pressed, they are released. Before leaving, Sheriff who is named Abel pulls Hutch aside into his office, where he meets another man known as Wyatt, the father of the boy Brady fought. Wyatt makes it clear he runs the town. However, since they are just tourists, he will let them go, but they need to leave. Hutch promises Brady will apologize for hurting Max's arm, but tells Wyatt to check the security footage first. Wyatt seems to get it and waves them off, but as soon as Hutch leaves, Abel orders his deputy to round up some men and take care of him. Once the family got home, Becca is not happy about the fight and confronted Hutch, accusing him of using this vacation as an excuse to actually carry out a mission here, given the fact he brought along a black bag. However, Hutch tried to convince her that he made a promise which he has kept so far. So Becca proceeded to go check what was in the bag, and to her surprise, it was just a bag filled with necessary things for the vacation including wine, which the two drank happily together. The next day, Hutch enjoys some downtime with the kids, taking them on a duck boat ride. Just while they were at it, he spots the deputy approaching with hired muscle. Hutch quickly buys tickets, sending his family onto the ride and excusing himself with a fake stomach ache. He boards another boat, where the deputy and his crew close in. The deputy warns him he should have left town, but before Hutch can explain, the thugs attack. Hutch tries to keep it controlled, not wanting to seriously hurt anyone, but when the deputy jumps in, Hutch drops him with a quick move. Hutch urges him to talk, but the deputy retaliates by chopping off Hutch's pinky. Hutch scrambles for the finger, only to watch it roll into the water and get swallowed by a fish just before he is knocked overboard. The goons demand double pay for the trouble, thinking it is over. Suddenly, Hutch climbs back on board, this time unleashing everything. He smashes through the crew with whatever's within his reach, then pounds the deputy's face, growling that he is just here on vacation. Later, Hutch calls his brother Harry, asking about Plummerville. Harry reveals the town used to be an old trade route for crime syndicates, and their family vacations there weren't what they seemed. Meanwhile, inside a warehouse, Sheriff Abel meets with Wyatt, and just then, Wyatt warns him not to stir up trouble and reminds him who is really in charge before heading off to check on his son. Soon after, Abel gets a call from his deputy, now hospitalized after Hutch's beating, informing the sheriff that Hutch isn't who he seems. Meanwhile, Hutch reaches out to the barber. The handler instantly senses Hutch is neck-deep in more trouble and asks what's going on this time. Hutch presses for answers about the town, and the barber explains it is a major backroad hub for trafficking, guns, viruses, and many other illegal substances flowing down from Canada into the States. The barber then gives Hutch a name behind this operation, which is Ladina, a ruthless figure nobody dares cross. On the other hand, Ladina, striding into her casino where a gambler is on a suspicious winning streak. So when the man tries to cash out, she slams a knife through his hand and yanks out the hidden earpiece he has been using to cheat. Speaking directly into it, she warns his partners that nobody plays her, then orders her guards to wipe out the cheaters and every witness. Elsewhere, Max is practicing baseball with Wyatt when his father steps aside to take a call coming from Ladina. She asks about her shipment. Wyatt insists this will be his last, claiming it clears his late father's debt. Ladina shuts him down cold, saying the debt is never-ending and the shipments will continue. She reminds him that his father died because he got distracted, then asks if he is also distracted. After the call, Ladina rings Sheriff Abel and orders him to deliver something of true value to Wyatt. Now back at the lodge, Brady wonders if their dad will show up soon. A knock at the door interrupts. Becca answers to find Grandpa with dinner, covering for Hutch by saying he will be late. On the road, Hutch tries to calm himself, but when he arrives at the warehouse, his fury wins. He douses stacks of money with gasoline and threatens to burn it all. Abel demands to know what he wants. Hutch tells him straight which was he needs a break. Once he leaves here, neither Ladina, the sheriff, nor their men are ever to come after him or his family. The sheriff assures Hutch they won't come after him, as long as he takes his family and leaves Plummerville. Hutch agrees, but just as he was about to step outside, Max leaps from a van, begging for help. Hutch hesitates, walks off toward his car, then suddenly doubles back. He storms in, taking out the men one by one with whatever weapons he can grab, finally freeing Max. The sheriff arrives and fires a shot, but misses. Instead of returning fire, Hutch shoots the chandelier, sending sparks crashing onto the money pile. Flames spread fast, engulfing the cash and the whole warehouse. Unfortunately, word of the destruction reaches Ladina. She is shown a picture of the man responsible, an ordinary family man on vacation, or so she is told. Furious by this, she vows to hunt him down and rallies her crew. Meanwhile, Hutch brings Max back to the lodge. He tells Brady to apologize for their earlier fight, but Becca looks disheartened, pointing out how he always finds a way to stir up trouble. Hutch admits that trouble just seems to find him, and Becca, surprisingly, tells him to go finish what he started. Later on, Hutch goes to meet with Wyatt, who is very furious as he continues to swing a bat at him for dragging chaos into town, but Hutch drops him with a punch. Once Wyatt cools off, Hutch explains what he did to Ladina's shipment, how he saved Max, and just then, Wyatt finally opens up as he narrates to Hutch how his father spent his life trying to pay off Ladina before she then killed him, a debt that was long cleared but one she still exploits. Wyatt swears he won't let his son inherit that same chain. After which, he reveals his late father's hidden arsenal, weapons he had once planned to use against Ladina before she killed him. So together, he and Hutch set up traps across the entire theme park, with some extra hands from David and Harry. After a very long extended planning and execution of their plans, they hope for a successful mission ahead. Meanwhile, back at the lodge, Becca quietly hands Brady responsibility for his sibling, grabs a rifle, and slips out under the guise of a walk. Soon after, Ladina and her army roll into the park. So the sheriff met with Hutch and Wyatt. He tells them to surrender and come with him, promising he might be able to pull them out of the mess. Hutch and Wyatt refuse. Abel calmly turns back toward his car, but before he can get in, one of Ladina's men guns him down on her order. Then the firefight begins as the goons charge in, only to be picked apart by the traps, landmines hidden in the ball pit, grenades swinging down like pendulums, each one meeting a bloody, explosive end. Meanwhile, at the lodge, more of Ladina's goon arrived on site to take out the family, but unfortunately for them, Harry came just in time to eliminate them all, leaving him 1v1 with the goon leader. The battle begins, and after an extended fierce clash of blades, Harry finishes it by decapitating him. Back at the park, with most of the henchmen down, Wyatt finally crosses paths with Hutchkins before collapsing from his injuries. Hutch covers him up, slips him a gun for protection, and heads off to find his father. That's when he comes across Ladina, calmly whistling. She demands to know who sent him. Hutch answered stating he only came to town to make memories with his family. Unimpressed, Ladina signals for two of her top female fighters. They step forward and take turns unleashing brutal kicks and blows, beating Hutch down. Ladina then tries to kill Hutch herself, but luckily for Hutch, Wyatt shot one of Ladina's goon. However, Ladina seriously injured him in the process. She continued her plan yet again, which was to take out Hutch, and unfortunately for her, Becca steps in by firing tranquilizer darts into Ladina's chest and eye. Hutch's father then decided to set the whole park on fire using the explosives. The scene then shifted to the present day, where we get to see Becca and her husband in an interrogation room, this time with the rescued family dog. The agents press them for answers, but a call from their superior forces them to release the Mansells. Back home, the family unwinds with a slideshow of their trip, joined by Brady's girlfriend. The movie then came to an end. Kindly subscribe for more action-thrilling recap like this. Thanks for watching and goodbye.